It's important in the next 25 years, we have to establish in the world, your religion is your personal pursuit, do whatever the hell you want. But it cannot be a national or global agenda. This must be set 100%.
कहने का मतलब ये है कि आप जो भी धर्म मानना चाहते हैं आप खुद मानिए, ठीक है? किसी दूसरों को इम्पोज ना करें इस चीज़ को, बस यही रिक्वायरमेंट है, ओके? आपका ये पर्सनल परस्यूट होना चाहिए। कहने का मतलब आपका खुद का, ना कि आपके गांव का, ना कि आपके ना सिटी का या फिर टाउन का, ठीक है? ऐसा एम नहीं होना चाहिए, एक ग्लोबल एजेंडा नहीं होना चाहिए। आप जिस धर्म को मानते हैं वो आप खुद मानिए, घर में मानिए, उसको बाहर ना ले जाएं, बस यही कहने का अर्थ है। अगर ऐसा हो जाएगा ना तो पूरा देश बदल जाएगा।
Don't do this, you could have nations exploding into bits. Why are you surprised? It is bound to happen. It's bound to happen. One fundamental thing that we should do in the next 25 years, if we are really concerned about the future of the world, because the day of the sword is over. Now it is a day of a deadly button which can do things that you can't imagine ever.
What goes through your mind when you see this, I mean, some would say level of evil inflicted on man by man?
We must understand, evil has always been inflicted only by one man upon another man, never by some other forces. It never happened like that. No hand jumped out of the sky and did any evil to anybody ever in the history of humanity. It's always one person doing something horrible to another person. This could be done for economic reasons, this could be done because of egoistic reasons, this could be done because of wealth, property, so many things. But if we have a fight for something, let's say we are fighting for this flower vase, you and me. At some point if we fight enough, either some wisdom will arise in you or me and say, okay, you keep it, but I don't want this nonsense going on forever. It'll come somewhere. But when people believe that they're fighting for their gods, there is no compromise. This is what we need to understand. You cannot compromise when you're fighting for your god. If it's property, I'll give it away. But I'm fighting for something about which there is no question of compromise. So we need to understand this. It's not when events happen like this, terrible events like this happen, everybody for a few days they will feel all this and then they'll go about their normal business. We must understand the moment you believe something and I believe something else, it's just a question of time when we are going to kill each other. Maybe we will, or maybe our children will, or maybe their children will, but it's bound to happen. When you believe something, when you believe means just this, what you do not know you assume and you concretize this assumption in your minds and you gather numbers. If these 1,000 people here all believe one thing, and when we step out on the street, if they all believe something else, inevitably there's going to be a clash. It's just a question of time.
How do we deal with this though?
So, you have set up the menu, but you're surprised when it gets served on your table. Why are you surprised? It is bound to happen. It's bound to happen. All this talk about just adjusting and creating little bit of peace here and there is not a solution. One fundamental thing that we should do in the next 25 years, if we are really concerned about the future of the world, because the day of the sword is over. Now it is a day of a deadly button which can do things that you can't imagine ever. Those kind of things it can do. Well, these deadly buttons are being spoken about on a regular basis these days in various places. So when this kind of capability is there, it's important in the next 25 years, we have to establish in the world, your religion is your personal pursuit, do whatever the hell you want. But it cannot be a national or global agenda. This must be set 100%. If we don't do this, we are not looking at just a few churches exploding or somebody shooting in the mosque or something else. you could have nations exploding into bits. A large part of humanity can go into bits because that's the kind of empowerment we have in terms of technology. It's not like you'll take your sword and kill 100 people. You're going to just take away millions at a time. So when this kind of empowerment is there, these kind of rudimentary beliefs, when I say rudimentary belief, I'm just saying you believe something that you don't know. Let's understand the word belief first of all. I'll ask you a simple question, is it okay? Am I too abrasive for you? You said it's head talk. Suppose I ask you right now, how many of you believe you have two hands? Please raise one hand. Do you believe you have two hands or do you know you have two hands?
No.
If I start an argument with you that you don't have two hands, and if my argument becomes too powerful, one slap in the face and you know you got hands. So with hands you know. There are so many things you believe. What does it mean? It simply means things that you do not know. You are not sincere enough to admit what I do not know as what I do not know. Because you've not understood the immensity of I do not know. Only when you see I do not know, the longing to know, the seeking to know and the possibility of knowing becomes a living reality. Otherwise, everything I do not know, I just assume. What is the point of that? The moment you assume and you gather 1,000 people who assume the same things and I assume something and I gather 10,000 people who assume the same thing, clash is inevitable, believe me.
So, ओवरऑल समरी में बस इतना कहना चाहूँगा कि हम लोग जो भी विश्वास करते हैं उसे हम लोग अपने मन के अंदर रखें, क्योंकि ये देखिए ये मेरा रिलेशन भगवान के साथ है तो ये एक बहुत ही प्राइवेट चीज़ होना चाहिए, है ना। कोई अच्छा फील करता होगा, होप मिलता है, बहुत सारा चीज़ मिलता है, ठीक है, विश्वास करने से भी। तो आप अच्छा फील कर रहे हैं इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आपको दूसरे के ऊपर इम्पोज करना पड़ेगा। अगर आप अच्छा सही में फील कर रहे हैं ना तो वो दिख जाएगा, क्योंकि जब मनुष्य अपने अंदर में खुश रहता है या फिर आनंदित रहता है वो दूसरों पर कभी भी आक्रमण नहीं करता है, चाहे वो शब्द से हो, चाहे वो सोच से हो, चाहे हो फिजिकली, ठीक है। आप किसी भी आनंदित जो अंदर से खुश है, आनंदित है, वो अगर कोई आके उसको मार भी देता है ना तो वो उस चीज़ को एक्सेप्ट कर लेता है, ठीक है। तो उतना एग्रेसिव नहीं होता है। अगर धक्का भी लग जाता है रास्ते में चलते हुए तो बोलता है कोई बात नहीं, चलो ठीक है, क्योंकि वो अंदर से खुश है। तो क्लैश उसके दिमाग में नहीं रहता है, ठीक है। आप अगर सही में मान रहे हैं ना वो दिखेगा, आदमी लोगों को दिखेगा। अगर आपका स्टेज सही है, आप जिस पे भी विश्वास करते हैं वो सही है, तो आप दूसरों को मदद करेंगे। जैसे हम लोग सिख भाइयों में देखते हैं कि ये लोग काफ़ी ज़्यादा सोशली एक्टिव है, ठीक है, कभी भी ज़रूरत पड़ता है मदद करते हैं, तो ये सही है। सोशल अनरेस्ट नहीं कर पाना चाहिए, कोई भी रिलीजियस ये नहीं रहना चाहिए किसी के अगेंस्ट में बोलता रहे अरे ये बहुत ख़राब है, वो बहुत ख़राब है। अगर आप बोल रहे हैं कि दूसरा ख़राब है, इसका मतलब ये है कि आप किसी चीज़ को रिजेक्ट कर रहे हैं टोटली, ठीक है। तो ये आप किसी चीज़ के अगेंस्ट में जा रहे हैं, तो इसका मतलब ये है कि आपने अभी तक भगवान को नहीं पाया है, ठीक है। जो भगवान को भी पाता है या फिर जो अंदर में अपने आप को आनंदित होता है, आनंद में पाता है, वो कभी भी किसी को अगेंस्ट में नहीं जाता, क्योंकि उसके अंदर से एक फॉरगिवनेस आ जाती है दूसरे के लिए, और वो हर समय दूसरों का अच्छा भला चाहता है। कभी भी गलत शब्द या गलत सोच दूसरों के प्रति नहीं आता है। यही हम लोग के पूर्वजों से यही था, लेकिन हम लोग भी मॉडिफाई हो रहे हैं